everyone, to Church News right here at Your Comments Matters YouTube channel. I'm your host, Minister Love. And last week, show was so intriguing that I wanted to bring more about Christianity and slavery, with the Bible and everything. So we found this YouTube channel called The History Speaks. And the title of the video is Christianity and Slavery, How Christian Slaveholders Use the Bible to justify slavery. This aired about 2 years ago, and it got over 818 views. And I'm sure that the comments that we have here today, you might just have been one of them that made a comment on this video. So I hope you watch the full show today so you can hear what the commenters have to say as well. So with that being said, let's get into the video and let's see what we're going to learn today, that in addition to what we learned last week. All right, let's watch the video.
Welcome to our thought-provoking exploration of Enlightenment and Christianity, Christianity and slavery. In this video, we delve into the intricate relationship between Christianity and the historical issue of slavery. Join us as we navigate the complexities of how believers on both sides have drawn upon biblical interpretations to either justify or oppose this practice. If you find this topic as intriguing as we do, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts in the comments section below. We value your insights and perspectives as we embark on this enlightening journey together. Enlightenment and Christianity. The Enlightenment, a period spanning the late 17th to the 18th century, brought about a significant shift in Western thought and culture. It emphasized reason, science, individualism, and skepticism toward traditional authority, including religious institutions. As Enlightenment ideals gained prominence, they intersected with Christianity in complex ways, leading to both cooperation and conflict between these two influential forces. Enlightenment thinkers often critiqued the authority of the church and challenged traditional dogmas. Figures like Voltaire and Rousseau questioned religious doctrines, advocating for religious tolerance and the separation of church and state. However, not all Enlightenment philosophers rejected Christianity. Some, like Thomas Jefferson, sought to reconcile their faith with reason, resulting in works like the Jefferson Bible, which extracted the moral teachings of Jesus while omitting the supernatural elements. Christianity also responded to Enlightenment ideas. Some Christian thinkers embraced reason as a means to understand and defend their faith. This led to a movement known as Christian Enlightenment, where theologians sought to harmonize religious beliefs with rational thought. These efforts aimed to counter the growing secularization of society and provide intellectual support for Christianity in the face of Enlightenment challenges. Christianity and slavery. The intersection of Christianity with the institution of slavery is a complex and often troubling aspect of history. Throughout different periods and regions, Christians have held diverse views on slavery, leading to conflicting interpretations of biblical teachings. In the context of the transatlantic slave trade, various biblical passages were invoked to both support and oppose slavery. Proponents of slavery often referenced passages that seemed to condone servitude, such as those in the Old Testament. The Curse of Ham narrative from the book of Genesis was sometimes used to justify the enslavement of African people based on racial interpretations. On the opposing side, abolitionists within Christian communities drew upon the teachings of Jesus to emphasize human equality and compassion. They pointed to the Golden Rule and Jesus' message of love for all as incompatible with the institution of slavery. Prominent Christian abolitionists, like William Wilberforce and Harriet Beecher Stowe, used their faith as a driving force in their activism. The tension between these perspectives was palpable. In the American Civil War era, for instance, both Northern and Southern Christians invoked the Bible to support their stances on slavery and secession. The division was so profound that it contributed to the separation of Northern and Southern branches of American Christianity. In hindsight, Christianity's role in the abolitionist movement stands as a testament to the religion's ability to evolve and adapt to changing moral and social landscapes. The reconciliation of faith with the immorality of slavery highlights the dynamic nature of religious interpretation and its potential for influencing societal change. Conclusion: the Enlightenment and Christianity shared a complex relationship marked by collaboration and contradiction. The Enlightenment challenged traditional religious authority while some Christian intellectuals embraced reason as a tool to defend their faith. Meanwhile, the history of Christianity's stance on slavery underscores the intricate interplay between religious beliefs, social norms, and evolving moral consciousness. The Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and individualism, as well as its critique of established religious institutions, contributed to a broader societal shift toward secularism and the separation of church and state. However, the legacy of the Enlightenment also includes the diverse ways in which it influenced Christian thought and practice, from encouraging intellectual engagement with faith to sparking debates about the compatibility of reason and spirituality. The history of Christianity's relationship with slavery serves as a reminder that religious interpretations are subject to cultural and societal influences. The tension between pro-slavery and abolitionist perspectives within Christian communities underscores the malleability of religious doctrines and their potential to inspire both positive social change and grave moral dilemmas. Ultimately, the interplay between Enlightenment ideals and Christianity exemplifies the complexity of human thought and belief.
All right, everyone, we're going to stop it right there. You heard enough coming from this video here on today, where he went all the way back to the 17th and the 18th century, so we can track this relationship between Christians and slavery and how they had different views, especially there during the Civil War. You got the North and the South both using the Bible to justify, one to justify no slavery, and the other one is to justify they want to keep slavery. How can this be? You got the one Bible and you got two different groups, and they're using it in two different ways. I tell you, you just can't make this stuff up. It's crazy when we go back and see how everything was developed through time, and how they use God's word for their own wicked gain. Because these Christians, they profited with the tobacco, with the cotton, with the sugar. They was making millions. And it was keeping the people in slavery. I tell you, oh my! Even Jefferson had a Bible, and they saw slavery as a what? Institution. Oh my goodness! And they would use certain texts to justify the servitude of the slaves. So you had abolitionist people like Harriet Beecher Stowe, the one I think wrote the Uncle Tom's Cabin, people like her, that was against slavery, and where she came out and spoke against it, and they didn't like it, but she did it anyway. All right, then, everyone, you saw the video, you heard everything. So now let's get to the commenters, and let's see what you and they have to say, shall we? All right, our first commenter is Epic Fartrahasis. Oh, please. I swear, I think some of y'all make these names up so we can't say it, so you can't be followed. I love it. It says, except for murder, slavery has got to be one of the most immoral things a person can do. Yet slavery is rampant throughout the Bible in both the Old and New Testament. The Bible clearly approves of slavery in many passages, and it goes so far as to tell how to obtain slaves. How hard can you beat them? And when you have sex with the female slaves, okay, it's in there. It sure is. You're right about that. Epic Fartrahasis. It is in the Bible. Slavery, look it up. Go to a strong concordance, and you see how many times slavery is mentioned right there in the Old Testament. Wow, you can, telling you, they allowed it. They allowed it, selling people back and forth. Yeah, and God knew it. God was part of it. He was part of this, giving them the okay that they can sell one another, buying people like you're buying cattle. Telling you, you let a wolf get a hold of that information and turn it around. That's what happened. So Nick Brazen, our next commenter is Nick Brazen, says, so what is the Bible stance on slavery? Condone or condemn? You seem to argue that it's completely subject to interpretation. Exactly. You make a think, oh no, it's not slavery in the Bible. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It's in there. Read your scriptures. You'll find it in there in the Old Testament, a whole lot. Take a look at our next commenter. This one is coming from Patchy the Pirate. Says, the Bible, well, make sure you get the Bible was talking about slavery back in biblical times, which is different than American slavery. The slavery they're referring to is more like indentured servitude. Also, right after that part, the Bible tells masters not to abuse their slaves and that all humans are equal in God's sight. I promise. God did not approve of American slavery, racism, all the stuff that happened afterward against Black people. That's just wrong. Well, if he didn't approve it, why allow it to go? It's just like saying that he didn't approve Satan to take Job's stuff away. Wickedness cannot come about if God don't give the approval. If he don't give the approval. So if you're saying that God didn't approve of American slavery, again, my comment is, then why you let it happen? If he's a God of love, why you let it happen, God? It was almost if the American slavery was exact like the Hebrew slaves in the Old Testament come out in Exodus. They was there for 400 years. Where American slavery, if you look at from 1600 to the 1800, that's half of the 400. Okay, 200 and some years right there. See, when you started, when you came into this country in the 1619, 1620, shoot, 200 plus years, 240 years of slavery. What? And they were using you, God, as the weapon, just using you to justify what they did to these people. I'm telling you, we got questions. We can read the Bible, we can go to church, we can pray, but you still going to have questions. We just cannot have these questions in our hearts and minds and not pursue to get answers. I tell you. Read your Bible, you see all this stuff is there, and you wonder why things happen. Tell you. Unbelievable, isn't it? Well, everyone, that's our church news for today. Thank you for your comments if you made some here on the show today. And thank you for those comments that we read here on for you today. Did you agree with any of those commenters? Then let us know. All right. Okay, then that's going to do it. And remember to go over to the Bible Talk Show YouTube channel. Check out Sister Sandra and I. We're doing a great series talking about the what ifs in life. And so we know that the Bible is full of what if. Well, what if it does talk about slavery? What if it don't talk about slavery? You won't know until you read it, right? And what does it mean? That's why that one commenter said that this is all subject to what interpretation. To me, slavery is slavery, no matter how you try to dress it up, no matter how many ice cream toppings or cherries you put on it. Slavery is slavery. And if it ain't slavery, then don't call it slavery. Call it a domestic housework. Okay. If you want to call it something, call it domestic housework. But don't call it slavery, because if you call it slavery, it is slavery. All right, then, everyone, that's going to do it for us here. I want to remind everyone to come back, and we'll see you on the next video. Remember, thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing right here for your church news on Your Comments Matter YouTube channel. I'm your host, Minister Love, and I see you on the next video. Take care.